What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today we're going to be looking at the shotguns in Infinite Warfare. We're going to be taking a really good look and comparing all of their range values, as well as the number of shots it takes to kill at all those ranges, as well as the effects that Suppressor as well as Long Barrel will have on the shotguns in Infinite Warfare. Keep in mind throughout this video, when I say Long Barrel, I'm referring to Speaker Amp, Particle Amp, as well as Rifled Barrel. I just like to group them all together in one category called Long Barrel. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so let's hop right into the range values here. I ordered the shotguns in order from least range all the way to the greatest range here. And keep in mind, these ranges are hand tested, and I tested them with the Smart Shot optic on there. Therefore, this assumes that every single pellet hits. So this is going to be the absolute maximum kill ranges with these shotguns. In reality, if you're missing a few pellets, it's going to be a little bit shorter than you see here. Also keep in mind that shotguns work like they used to, they don't work like they did in Black Ops 3. Black Ops 3 had a base pellet damage and then a damage add per pellet, and in this game what happens is you have a set amount of damage per pellet that hits your target, and each of these shotguns shoots 8 pellets per shot. So in Infinite Warfare, it's really about landing as many pellets as possible, whereas in Black Ops 3 it was more so just about getting a shot on target, no matter how many pellets actually hit. So starting it off here, the shotgun with the lowest range is the DCM-8, or what I like to call the Decimate. I think that's how it's supposed to be said. The Decimate has a 4-shot kill range out to 15 meters. Beyond 15 meters, it deals absolutely no damage whatsoever. It's got a very solid 3-shot kill range, and most of the time it's going to be a 3-shot kill, assuming you're hitting lots of pellets. Then we've got a bit of a 2-shot kill range and a very tiny 1-shot kill range, which I actually found quite surprising. I didn't think the Decimate would be able to kill in 1 shot, but technically it does. You just have to be pretty much touching your enemy. Moving on to the Reaver, once again we've got the exact same maximum range, which is 15 meters, and we're actually going to see this hold true for every single one of the shotguns, despite what one of the sources with the hard stats seems to suggest. These are all hand tested, and 15 meters is the absolute maximum range at which you can deal damage with any of these shotguns. Keep in mind, we are ignoring variants for this. So for the Reaver, we've got a somewhat similar damage profile until we get to the 2-shot kill range and the 1-shot kill range. Both of those are going to be a little bit longer than the Decimate. Next, we're getting into the pump actions, and the Banshee has a pretty respectable 1-shot kill range, as you can see there. Beyond that, we've got a bit of a 2-shot kill range, and then finally a 3-shot kill range. For the RAC-9, I was actually very surprised to see that its maximum 1-shot kill potential is barely longer than the Banshee. It's only about a foot or so, but remember, like I said, this is assuming every single pellet hits, and when we look at the actual damage per pellet, the RAC-9 actually has a range in which it deals 100 damage per pellet, meaning that it's going to be a guaranteed 1-hit kill, even if you only hit 1 pellet. Now, it's not going to be this entire range, it's a much shorter range, but this is why the RAC-9 tends to be a lot more consistent within its 1-shot kill potential than the Banshee. So if you are using a Smart Shot optic, the Banshee is a better choice because you're going to be hitting every one of your pellets, and that range difference is barely noticeable between the Banshee and the RAC-9, but the Banshee has a significantly higher fire rate than the RAC-9. So just keep in mind, the Banshee is a solid choice compared to the RAC-9, but like I said, you'll probably find a little bit more consistency in your 1-shot kill potential with the RAC-9. And finally, we've got the S-Ravage, which is quite comparable to the RAC-9 as far as its damage profile and range profile goes. It's got a slightly longer range in both its 1-shot as well as 2-shot kill potential, but it's similar to the RAC-9 in that within its 1-shot kill potential, it does have a 100 damage range per pellet, and therefore it is going to be quite a consistent 1-shot kill when you get very close to your enemies, because all you have to do is hit 1 single pellet. Now, a lot of people have noticed in this game, the shotguns seem to be very underwhelming. They're not that great in most situations. I would say that some people are overreacting a little bit, and the shotguns are very usable, but I can totally see where the complaints are coming from, and they aren't really as good or consistent as we saw in some previous COD games, and I do feel that it would be nice to see a bit of a buff to their range. So just for fun, I thought I would compare this to the KRM-262 from Black Ops 3, just to show you guys how different these shotguns are. This right here was the maximum 1-shot kill potential of the KRM-262, assuming every pellet hit. As you can see, it's a considerably longer range than these other shotguns, and keep in mind it also had a guaranteed 1-shot kill potential, about similar to the maximum 1-shot kill potential of the S-Ravage. So you can see here that the shotguns in this game are clearly weaker than in Black Ops 3. Some people like that, other people don't. My personal opinion is they could use a slight buff to their range. I don't want shotguns to be like completely ridiculous, but at the same time, I'd like to see a slight buff to these ranges. So now that we've seen all of the base ranges for these shotguns, let's have a look to see what Suppressor as well as Long Barrel do. And first off, we'll have a look at Suppressor. Based on my hand testing and everything I could tell, it looks like we only get approximately a 5% reduction to our range. This was extremely surprising to me. Suppressor has almost no impact whatsoever to the shotgun's ranges, and therefore it's actually quite a viable choice in this game. This is not something we're used to seeing with shotguns in Call of Duty. Normally, suppressors are just like not an option, at least for pump actions on shotguns, but in this game, they absolutely are. And I wouldn't hold it against anybody for rocking a suppressor on any of these shotguns. Moving on to Long Barrel, we get a 10% increase to all of our damage ranges with the shotguns, which again, isn't really a big change to the range of the shotguns. And because of that, I feel like Long Barrel isn't really a super great choice. With Suppressor at least, you gain a huge benefit from staying off the radar with very little trade-off to your range. With Long Barrel, you don't really get too much benefit at all, and in my opinion, it's almost a wasted attachment on these shotguns. And the simple reason for this is, think about that little tiny window of range increase for your one-shot kill potential, for instance, on the Banshee, Rack 9, and S-Ravage. How often are you going to be in exactly that little window? Most likely, it's going to be quite rare that you're in that exact window where you get that range increase. So how often is it going to help you? I don't know, maybe 1 in every 30 kills? That's just a guess off the top of my head. Other than that, you're either going to be in the 2-shot kill range or in the 1-shot kill range. There's very little margin in between. On the flip side of that, if we look at Suppressor, how often is that going to be helping you? Very, very often, especially if you've got Ghost on and you're flanking with the shotgun, that's going to be helping you out a ton. So therefore, I think for the first time ever in Call of Duty, I recommend suppressors on your shotguns over Long Barrel. I never thought I would say that, and I was very surprised to see these results, but you guys can see it for yourself, and you can make your own decision based on the stats that you can see here. But for me, it looks like I'm actually going to start running suppressors on my shotguns more often. So there we have it. Very surprising results in today's video. I'd like to know in the comment section below. Are you still going to be using Long Barrel or Speaker Amp or Rifle Barrel, whatever they're called? Are you still going to be running that on your shotguns? Or do you see yourself now switching over to suppressors? If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.